The following is rated TV MALSV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 4 of Too Many Chefs, Super Bowl Feasts. I am your host, Devious Dave Rose, can't even speak tonight, and I would like to thank you all for joining us here on this pleasant Friday night, no matter where you might be. And as always, I start off the show by showing my gratitude and appreciation for those that have chosen to be here tonight with us. Let's start off with It's the Costanza. You got Josh Lines, Jacob Blinkhorn, and Raka from Down Under. And Raka says, "Hey, DDR, have a good one, mate. I'll listen to the replay, just catching up on Ken's stream show at the moment from earlier this morning. My time, that is. Cheers, mate. Oi, oi, oi." Absolutely. So, yes. Today's show, we'll be discussing a cornucopia, a smorgasbord, a plethora of foods that people eat during one of the most busy days when it comes to cooking. Whether it be appetizers, main meals, or even ordering out. The Super Bowl literally is the time where the most pizza is ordered during the entire year. And many pizza chains actually prepare for this by stocking up on dough, for example, on ingredients, and essentially having extra drivers on hand to be ready to fulfill the normal increase in demand, and it becomes quite hectic. You should definitely look into the the chaos that happens around Super Bowl time. But if you like to cook, and if you're here, you probably do. You probably like to create, and when it comes to Super Bowl, it's not like everyone, for example, at Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving, has a place at a table. Everyone, is eating their sort of proportion and being served and so forth. The Super Bowl is much more fluid, as are obviously many sports. And you have the ability to, and it's more the custom to eat all different sorts of foods, a variety of different types of foods that are easy to eat, finger foods, quick to make at least that is the intention, but it's not always the result. But essentially provides enough variety to those attending that everyone can try everything, and it seems like they've eaten a whole meal. So this is one of the reasons I love this time of year, although I personally I prefer the Grey Cup myself. After all, I am a big fan and proponent of the CFL, Go Argos. And, my celebration for the Grey Cup is similar to yours, but obviously at 1/10 the budget. But that's where my loyalties lie, and that's where I celebrate my football love. But hey, if you like the NFL, so be it. But this is that time of year where you get to hang around with people, and hopefully wherever you are, the lockdowns have sort of eased up and you can actually get together with friends again, have some interaction with humanity. And this is a perfect opportunity. And yes, some people might say, oh, well, this is now a super spreader event and stuff. And you know what? If you're going to live in fear, go live in fear and stay at home. You know what? We're not going to get political here, but the fact is that you got to celebrate life and stop living in falsely generated fear. It's as simple as that. And obviously, this is a time of celebration for many people out there because either they've bet a lot of money on it or they just want to enjoy the culmination of the year's games and see a final victor, want some sort of resolution to that. So let's start off with the most basics. Popcorn. Popcorn, obviously very easy to eat, obviously, but it's very easy to make, which is what I was going to say initially, but I guess that weed that I ordered is quite more effective than I expected, at least with my verbal capacities. It's called Cheese, by the way, 15 to 22% THC content. Very, very tasty. I mean, well, tasty in the sense that it's not overwhelming, but it's still potent and strong and somewhat earthy. And obviously it's got a good high, nice and relaxing. It's not too hard-hitting, in the creep. But it's obviously potent enough for me where I'm starting to misplace certain words and such. But obviously I'm still cognizant, and, even a lobotomy couldn't make me, the average intelligence. You'd need to cut my head off for that to happen. But we're not talking about my intelligence here. We're talking about foods. Popcorn, easy to make, and the best part is that it's so easy to customize. You can make any sort of garnish, any sort of topping, and you can prepare it in so many different ways. And this is the simple stuff. We'll eventually start to talk about kettle popcorn, for example, or caramel popcorn. There's many different ways to make popcorn. And as I've said in the past, corn is one of my favorite vegetables. It is delicious. And it is so versatile too. So, but don't be a moocher. If you're going to a party for the Super Bowl, don't bring a bag of popcorn or a bag of chips. That's the cheapest shit that you could ever do. And it speaks a lot about your laziness, your lack of creativity, your entitlement, and your stupidity. And that little comment there stems from my absolute despise for those that take advantage of others, whether it be at the infamous... I'm getting too riled up to start to think straight here. Potlucks, or even you host a party, amongst fellow adults like yourself, and you get treated to the stupidity of a fucking teenager when it comes to, oh, here's a small bag of chips that I bought from the gas station that I just grabbed as I was coming here because the 3 weeks of you constantly telling me that there was a requirement to bring equal quantities so that everyone was working equally and there wasn't any unfairness. No, I'm just going to ignore that or pretend that, oh, I forgot. And yeah, there's going to be an episode specifically dedicated on potlucks and just my absolute despise for those that violate the rules, not only of the potluck, but of the party. Because if you are hosting a party, you show respect Well, people show respect to the host, period. Now, yes, that comes to snacks, but it also regards your comportment at the actual event and so forth. But I got a little sideline there. As you know, I'm very, very passionate about that sort of matter. By the way, just a reminder, this is Too Many Chefs, and hence the name. We take open calls. Skype lines are open. Call in. The more the merrier. That's the point. We want to get interaction. I want to hear what you have planned for Super Bowl feast, or maybe what you've made in the past, or what you would like to make in the future. Call your ass in. Why don't you let us know? So now we're looking at a nice little, it's a party mix platter, mostly. Bowl of nice variety. Oh, we've got our first caller. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the one, the only, the Nine God himself, Nicky Nines.
Hello.
I'm sorry, I did not have. I'm still working on getting a food advisory at the beginning of the show, so that when people call in or when people watch the show, viewers' hunger is your responsibility.
Hold on 1 second. My wife's asking me to translate for her. What do you want to say?
I said I want to call Freedom.
Yeah.
Is my plan.
Hold on, muted. I'm ruining your show.
Okay. Well, while we wait for Nicky to resolve his domestic issues, we're talking about snacks and the snack mix bowl that you can put together. Very easy to do, and you can do with a lot of stuff that you have at home. Even as you can see, you got some Chex in there. Cereal, peanuts, pistachios. Some Cheez-Its, and you can even put in some pretzels and just about anything. And you can even season that if you want. It's not really worth buying this stuff already pre-mixed because it's a rip-off for one, and you can easily make this stuff much cheaper yourself. In fact, if you go to one of these places that sells bulk material like this, you'll have a whole bin of peanuts. You just grab a bit and put it in a little bag, and then you just keep assembling that to put up enough quantity to address how much you think somebody is going to eat. You're not going to go overboard because there's going to be a lot more of food, but you want to make sure that you consider that there's enough food all around for everyone to try everything at least once. That should be your intention. Now, before we go to Nicky here, I just want to quickly address in the chat. We got Josh Lines again says, I'm glad to start catching community streams again. I haven't been in the community in quotations much anymore. You still monetize this or anything? No, and that ended quite some time ago. Yeah, there's a lot to catch up on. Bam6956 says not here in Ontario. I guess he's referring to the lockdown. Yeah, we're still waiting for word on that in regards to whether we can, because it's the emergency order, which is illegal and contravenes the previous law, is supposedly still in effect. So it's going to expire next week. And if they don't, make a new fake law to fucking extend it, then it's going to expire and things are going to supposed to open again as they should. So things are very fucked here in Ontario. Jacob Blinkhorn says, does it have that strong cheesy smell? I'm not sure what he's referring to. We got Vikings fan in the chat. Hello. And all right. So Nicky, now that we've caught up, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just cooking. I actually had a quick question. You ever make homemade French fries much?
Yeah.
Ever?
Yeah.
And
dude, the potato's my best friend.
Okay. Any tips? Because I've never done the homemade. I mean, I've done them baked, but I'm gonna fry them.
Okay. So what kind of oil you using?
Peanut or.
Okay. You can go with that. What kind of? How big's the pan? Is it just a frying pan?
Just like not like a frying pan, because I'm doing some chicken tendies.
Oh, so it's a deeper pot.
Yeah, deep pot. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like a deep pot.
How did you cut these things? Did you cut them?
Yeah, I already cut them. Up. They're kind of small, like 3 inches long, maybe a fourth of an inch thick. They've been sitting in water for like 30 minutes, cold water.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to think. They're a quarter of an inch thick. Okay, so they're thick. They're thick. They're thick boys.
Little thick, not too bad.
Okay. Obviously, you get the heat up. I think it's 165 for fries. But you want to get your heat. But the thing is, though, you got the better thing. I don't know. I think you're going to need a hotter heat for the chicken, right? And you're using the same oil, are you not?
Yeah, I'm using the oil. I'm doing the chicken tendies first because it's like a rip to my AMC stock, so it's kind of like
okay. So you're just gonna have to be careful with because once you've evacuated the chicken, and then you insert the potatoes, it's gonna be hotter, I believe, than it would normally be. So you're gonna have to. I think that you're just gonna have to be quick. Keep your eyes on it. Watch as it browns, and maybe dredge it up a bit, lift it a bit out of the oil for a bit. Drop them in again so they're not exposed fully for all that heat for all that time. Because once you start to see the brown up, it's still not like dark brown. It's like you're starting to see it golden, and you start to realize, okay, well, this is now where the center starts to, from very fluffy, it starts to get a little harder, and you got to use your eyes to figure out, okay, this is about the time where it should be good. So you can even take out one fry, break it in half quick, look at the inside.
Okay.
As soon as you see the inside, you might see it's still a little too goopy. If, for example, you see it's too goopy, but the outside's too hard, it's starting to get too crispy, take that stuff off the heat, try to get it out of the oil as quick as possible. You gotta. The thing is, the only issue is because you're heating up to the chicken, that's going to boost the heat higher than it would normally for fries. Yeah, you can use the same. The thing is, though, I like creep up heat for fries and then to go to the higher for the chicken, but it's just quicker this way that you're saying. And yeah, you'll get your fries out in a couple of minutes, maybe 3 at most. It depends on how thick they are and what are they, Yukons?
Yeah, Yukon Gold.
Okay. Just keep your eye on the color and be quick. Try to and use that strategy to pull one out, break it in half. That'll be the quickest way for you to determine.
Okay. Well, thank you. I will do that because I've never done, I fried chicken and whatnot, but I've never done homemade French fries and frying it.
I love potatoes, dude, and I love, obviously anything that's made with a potato. So fries, and that's the best part. You can make these waffle fries. You can make fucking tater tots. You can make these thick fucking, ones that you're describing. You can make the julienne fries, which are super thin. Like, there's so much versatility to it. And, the oil, like, once you start to, I guess, get the feel of how quick the oil works, because that's the biggest thing. Stoves are different. Pots are varying thickness. Oils are different viscosity. It's like... it's trying to troubleshoot a jet engine a jet plane that's being flown by a civilian that, isn't fully accustomed to everything and stuff. So it's hard to describe what, all the different variables are. But you're a good baker. You're a good cook.
Yeah.
So you've got a good eye, and you can figure out as soon as you start to see the goldening. That's when your siren goes on. That's when you're like, okay, we're almost there. I just have to check the inside because obviously nobody likes dry fries. But we do like that crispy outside. Who nobody loves a soggy fry either. It's just like bacon. It's an art to get that perfect balance.
Oh, you're not kidding. It's like bacon. Just when it's too crispy, it's like chewing on a little rock.
Yes, but when it's too rubbery, it's just and it's
limp.
But it's one of those things that I so admire when somebody is able to perfect, like, just get that perfect balance, whether it be a fry or a bacon strip. Or a rasher, as they call them in the Commonwealth. It's just perfection. You can't. It's like God Himself made you this meal.
Yeah, it's God's honest truth because bacon is like it's proof God loves you. I know Benjamin Franklin.
It is.
It was proof God loves you, but no. It was bacon.
It truly is probably the greatest invention ever, followed closely by eggs. Chicken eggs.
How do you like
specifically.
your eggs? How do you like your eggs?
Oof, I like them a lot. But for example, I love soft-boiled eggs. Love them. Hard-boiled eggs, yeah, they're okay in a salad, maybe as an egg salad sandwich, or just slices in a Cobb salad, or just any other sort of green salad, just to mix it up. I like that.
Yes.
Breakfast style, I like over easy, but I do like, from time to time, sunny side up. But fucking you can't beat an eggs Benedict. Like, I mean, like, where do I end?
Yeah, my mom loves poached eggs.
Oh,
that was always her thing.
It's so fucking good. So good. And the eggs Benedict that could be adapted to be like with salmon, for example, with smoked salmon, or with there's so many variations. Like they've got some with like spinach and I don't know if it's like ricotta or feta. I think it's feta. But dude,
Yeah,
it's just like it's so versatile.
Oh yeah. No doubt. These things. Yeah, I love potatoes and eggs. My wife, she's an egg junkie more than I am. Because like I force myself to eat them a lot boiled because just for the protein.
Yes, exactly.
It's just like no. And after like my fourth one, I'm like, what have I done?
That's my problem is that you give me boiled eggs and you give me like a salt shaker and I'll just like peel, salt, eat, peel, salt, eat.
Yeah.
Like I'm fucking Cold Hand Luke or Cool Hand Luke.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love that stuff. Love deviled eggs. Love deviled eggs.
That's my weakness. Oh man,
Yeah.
I love those. I love those so much. The paprika or paprika.
Yeah.
It's paprika. Yeah. It just really gives that nice smoky flavor, and it's stratospherically good. Also,
It is.
I was just gonna add. Bam says French fries with real mayonnaise, homemade.
Ugh.
Actually, that's
I'm
a
not
thing.
a big mayo fan.
Dude, the thing is though, the Dutch, for example, like this is big in Europe as well. Having mayonnaise with your fries, and dude, to me, it's delicious. I love mayonnaise with fries.
Really, I'm just never the biggest mayo fan. I always had like Miracle Whip growing up.
Oh, I can't have Miracle Whip, dude. It's so fake. I can taste it.
Yeah, I know.
hate that shit. And
I
I was
never
gonna.
liked mayo because it's just like spreadable fat. That's why I never was never the big fan.
Yeah,
But
but it's just, but the problem is, not only does it taste artificial, but it leaves my stomach feeling so greasy, like in the sense like this is the precursor to some like badass diarrhea. So I really don't want to feel like that at all. Cause I like whatever it is, it could be like, it could be, like the American cheese, for example. It could be like queso, queso dip. It's the stuff that's so fucking artificial that not only do I fucking immediately convulse at having it, but my body reacts in a manner that instantly recognizes what it is and tries to flush it.
Are you a big cheese lover, cheesehead?
I do like cheese, yes. I'm not a big dairy guy in the sense of drinking, don't like that. But having cheese, in a sandwich, for example, in a real dip, real cheese, yes, I do like cheese at various types.
You got a favorite? Mine's, I swear to God, it's so simple, but it's provolone.
Camembert.
Like there's something about like, what is it?
Camembert.
Camembert? What the little white cheese? I think
It's a white cheese. It's very smooth. Yeah. It's sort of gooey, and it's got a rind on the outside. Comes in like little discs, and you can cut off yourself a little slice, I guess. Put it on a cracker, and you can also bake it as well. Have you ever seen how they bake brie?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Very similar. So it makes it really gooey. Works great with fondue, for example. But to me, I like the taste of camembert much more than I do brie.
Yeah, brie's.
What's that?
So. Brie's so-so. Not the biggest brie fan. It's not bad, but it's
Provolone's okay. Provolone's okay, but I do find it somewhat, I guess biting would be the best word. It's sharp.
It depends
It's
on it.
a
It depends
sharp.
on it, yeah.
But I mean, like old cheddar is sharp too, but I prefer
Yeah.
that because there's a difference. There's a difference in the taste, in the flavor. So it depends on the
Yeah.
actual I guess the cheese type itself. But I got to tell you, the best cheese that I've ever had ever in my life, my mom gave me that she brought back from a place in Quebec. Okay, and
Okay.
if you're looking for a good vacation for you and the missus, I would
Yeah.
honestly recommend this, dude. I'll tell you why. So there's a monastery in Quebec, okay? So there's actual monks, dude. Actual monks that are making cheese. And dude,
Yeah.
this stuff is fucking incredible. It is so good. And they give tours of the place. They obviously they sell their products online, but they also sell them right there, and you've got a huge variety. It's basically called Abbé de Saint Benoît du Lac, so the Abbey of Saint Benoit of the Lake.
Oh. Okay.
And
Nice.
obviously anytime you want, I'll send you that information, no problem.
Yeah, please send me that because that sounds neat. I always want to visit like one of those like like a cheese making factory. I don't know what the fuck they call them, but they make like real artisan cheese. You know, like
Yes.
those big giant cheese wheels are just beautiful. Like they're just beautiful. Something about them or the look of them, or even like a piece of me would love to go to Spain because they do so much what is it, dried pork salami. Different stuff. I forget what they call it. There's not chorizo, but it's like that, and they have these beautiful places where they just age the stuff, and they'll like give you slivers of it to taste, and it's just supposed to be amazing.
Yeah, this place is incredible from what my mom told me. I saw a bunch of photos because there's an abbey there and stuff. I mean, this place is beautiful, and obviously they have their operation there, and they've been there since 1912, so they've been operating for over
Okay.
100 years, and this stuff is known worldwide. It's delicious, and there's just
Yeah.
so much that you can get a hold of all these different cheeses that are available. I'll just put it in the chat here so that you can at least check that link out if you want. That is their website. It looks like they did change it. They're constantly changing it. I think it's the Smoked Fontina. I think that's the one it was that I really enjoyed a lot. So the description on this, for example, is a firm cheese matured for 23 months. Its soft, slightly creamy texture brings out its delicate flavor. The natural wood smoke creates a honey-colored rind, a surprisingly flavorful cheese for you to discover. And it won 2014 Canadian Cheese Awards, and then in 2016 Concours de Fromage du Québec, which is supposed to translate out to Quebec Cheese Competition. They've got cheese curds as well, which, again, for the Quebec, the Quebecois, I should say, is, a big thing. They eat a lot of those.
No.
And it's not just
Yeah,
with
that-
poutine, or poutin, as it's
Yeah.
supposed to be pronounced.
Yeah.
But, that
Yeah.
place looks incredible. Sorry, go on.
Quebec is one of those places. Like I'm not such a big fan of the attitude of the people, but like the cuisine and like it seems like just one of those places you have to visit if you're like a food junkie.
Exactly,
You know,
it's
you-
unmatched. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very European, especially Quebec City. Montreal is much more, urban, I guess. But you go to Quebec City, and you better have a translator or know French, because it's going to be very difficult to deal with the locals as well as to be able to figure out what's going on. So,
I'm sure.
And it is unfortunate that the Quebecois do act that way. And if they cut off all equalization from Alberta, I'm sure they'd fucking smarten up real quick. But that doesn't
sure
look
they-
like that's going to happen anytime soon.
Probably not, unfortunately.
But
So
yeah,
you're doing Super Bowl talk, huh?
yeah, we're
Super
talking
Bowl
about Super Bowl feasts.
Okay. Are there even going to be Super Bowl feasts this year for anyone?
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Well, I did bring that
Has
up. I did bring that up. I did mention that, hopefully for those that are listening in America or some other part of the world where they don't have the current lockdown like we have here in Ontario. I'm not sure Alberta there, but like it's. I'm wishing for them to enjoy the time that they actually get to spend socializing with people, getting out of this fucking insanity. So,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
as I said, as you were calling in earlier, I was addressing how, and Bam said this about not in Ontario, and I said, yeah, we're still waiting word on what was supposed to be announced today as to whether or not this lockdown is going to be rescinded once it expires, or if they're going to pull in some other stupid bullshit, regulation and try to claim that the lockdown continues. So.
Oh, I'm sure they will. This government, they like to kind of lock you down.
Well, regardless,
Give you
people
enough-
are still going to get together, and they really don't care, and people are getting fines, and they don't care, and eventually this is going to cause lots of problems. So they better fucking open up real quick.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. So, what was your ideal spread? What's your ideal spread for a Super Bowl?
I was just going through the, through all the different foods and stuff that can be offered. But when it comes to ideal, or at least the ultimate, because there's other things that I can cover in regards to food. But since you asked the question, we'll go straight to it. I personally love the themed feasts, as they are. So I'm just putting an image right now on the stream, which just goes to show one of many amazing creations that people have made for the Super Bowl. And these are things that I admire very much, because a lot of effort goes into them, and it is a work of art. It truly is. And it provides such a great variety to the guests. So this one, for example, that we're looking at, it's a stadium built out of sandwiches, and you got all these different, hors d'oeuvres inside, snacks, chips, and it looks beautiful, almost too beautiful to eat.
Yeah, that sounds pretty neat.
And that's what I love. I mean, that's what I love about any sort of event where you get together with people to celebrate, where you, as the chef, get to create whatever it is, but you get to use your creativity and you insert your personality into it, whatever it is that you're creating. So something like this, which not only is a joy to watch others like, so when you see the faces of people as they first lay eyes upon your creation, something that you spent, hours, or it could be even days for Super Bowl, to prepare for their enjoyment, and you see the joy that they experience, the surprise, and then finally the satisfaction of eating food that they really enjoyed during an event, gathered with people that they, found a lot of happiness in. I mean, there are no words to really describe that sort of that feeling.
Okay, the fry came up perfect. Thank you. It's perfect.
What's that?
The fry, just did the snap in the middle, and it's perfect. It's not gooey, not hard.
Oh, okay, so you got it at the perfect. Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of that, too. I think that's the fan of cooking in general. Like, one of the highs of it, when you make such a wonderful meal and people enjoy it, it's just like, holy shit, awesome. There's like, even this, like me just making like homemade fucking chicken fingers and fries. Like, my wife's gonna be like, oh my God, honey, when I love you so much, I'm gonna obey now and not bust you around anymore. I know that's not gonna happen, but I can imagine it's gonna happen.
Exactly.
Oh.
But yeah, it's that satisfaction of being able to create something new, something different that is unexpected, but also very much appreciated.
Do you have a favorite sandwich? Because you're speaking about sandwiches. Is it just like a go-to sandwich for you?
Oof, that's a hard one. That's going to be another episode, because I love sandwiches so much.
Yeah.
Like,
No doubt.
I am the sandwich pimp. I could sell a sandwich to Subway.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, the other sandwiches are garbage.
I know. Yeah, that's, maybe I should have picked. How about Firehouse subs?
Okay, yeah.
Oh my God, are they fucking awesome? They are probably one of the best sub places I've ever visited.
Huh. You know what I haven't had in a long time? A fucking good Reuben. I fucking love Reubens. That's probably, and it's not to interject into, I know you're going to do another stuff, but fuck, man, I'm craving a Reuben all of a sudden. Oh,
Yeah, those aren't
gotta be
bad
my
at
favorite
all.
sandwich.
I prefer just a straight corned beef sandwich,
Again,
piled
corned beef in
high
general
with
is
some
fucking amazing.
some mustard. I know, I know,
Are there any
I know the best places in Toronto for those things. Like
Oh,
for
really?
the Jewish delis, I know the places.
Yeah, the Jews love them. They have those amazing delis with them foods.
Well, I
God
dated
damn.
a couple of, well, more than a couple of Jewish women. So, hey, man, those Khazarian milkers, man, they're something else.
Yeah, I did too, and it was kind of funny that she did have the stereotypical like fucking Jewish woman, like what you doing, cocksucker? Or I'm doing terrible. I can't do accents, but whatever. You know, she had the stereotypical accent, but god damn, could she make a sandwich? All right, so, well, that's cool, man. That's cool.
Yes, I'll talk about sandwiches on another episode. Because that's a topic just like potlucks that is very close to my heart, and I just love talking about the varieties that you can do with sandwiches. It's just too much fun.
Oh, it's a Super Bowl, so like you got a go-to dip.
I prefer a nice 7 layer dip.
Similar dip.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
dude, yeah.
actually, you are moving a little quicker than I expected there,
All right, my bad.
but I will show some of the things that I'm referring, because I did prepare for that too, because that is a go-to. That is something that is, what's it called? It's easy to make, and it's a great addition to a Super Bowl meal because it's easy
Oh, yeah.
and it's filling, and it's got a variety of different flavors that, yeah, it just really works well. So let me just quickly do here. So on the screen here, this is what a normal 7-layer dip would look like. Now there are some alterations that you can do, but it normally starts the same way. Bottom layer has to be refried beans, frijoles as they call them. Then the next layer is guacamole. Okay, not just avocado made into a mush. No, actual guacamole, which requires you to add several additional ingredients. You know, we can cover Mexican cuisine in another episode. You're gonna have a layer of sour cream. Now, you can do something like this where if you get, say, taco seasoning from Old El Paso or one of these little packets that you can buy at the grocery store.
Yeah.
You can mix this into the sour cream, so you've got an additional sort of spice flavor to it.
Yeah, a little kick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then place that layer of sour cream onto the guacamole. Now, however, I need to warn people on this. The majority of taco flavoring is non-gluten free. So if you have somebody who is gluten intolerant or celiac, they will react very harshly to the amount of gluten that is in those packets of taco spice. So could you add your own spices? Yeah, absolutely. I'm just giving you the quick and skinny here, okay? Again, Super Bowl really isn't about watching your waistline. Okay.
Oh no.
So, there are some exceptions you can make, but there's also adjustments you can make. You could make this all vegan if you wanted to. You could do a lot of different things, and the sky's the limit. But I'm just telling you guys right now, you want to do it quick and easy, go with the spice packet, mix it with the sour cream, and then use that as a layer. On top of that now you put actual salsa, not tomato sauce. Mexican salsa. Okay? Now, you can find Goya, for example, I believe has that. They're not very common up here in Canada, but I do see them from time to time. But we have other brands up here. But you need to get salsa. Can you make it yourself? Yes.
Yeah.
That will take some time. If you want the quick way of doing this, especially for those that are trying to reform their potluck crimes, you can easily buy this from a store. It's already in the jar, already mixed up. You just layer it over, you're done. Now, you can either add meat if you want. I prefer not to. I like it because you don't necessarily need to either. You're going to be
You
eating
don't
meat
need
from
it.
other
No,
stuff
with
either.
bean dip, no. You don't need it with bean
So
dip. No, not
the
at all.
next layer is actually the cheese layer. So this is where you actually get shredded cheese, and it should be either cheddar and a mix with Monterey Jack.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
preferred. It's better that way. Evenly spread out, and on top of that, now you're going to put shredded lettuce. On top of that, you're going to put diced tomatoes. I'd suggest try to make them a little bit thinner than what you see on the screen here. And on top of that, you put some black olives sliced, obviously. And then finally, if you want, you can either put, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like it's a Mexican sort of sour cream over top, or just get some more sour cream and just drizzle it over the top. Very simple, very filling, and the variety of the flavors really it hits the spot. It's just a great snack food, great dipping food that you can offer at parties, and it's extremely easy to make and extremely inexpensive. And
Sorry, I'm drooling over thinking about it. I'm just like, dude, I haven't had 7-layer bean dip in a while, and you just described it the perfect way. Like, no meat in it, enough cheese, the sour cream, the fucking frijoles, guacamole. God damn, do you have a chip of choice you like to use with that? Just a regular.
Tostitos are good, triangular Tostitos, restaurant style. I do prefer thicker. I don't like the corn nachos. Because they use a lot of cornmeal on top of it, and it's just all over the place, that shit. And it just, I don't know, the flavor's not that good because it's a North American sort of, nacho.
Yeah.
But I like flour tortillas, but that are strong enough that they're not going to break when you dip them in, because this stuff is viscous. This stuff is, you got to break through all these 7 layers and pull it out. Now, the better thing really is normally to have a scooping spoon and allow someone to take some of the dip, plop it on their plate, and then they can eat it. And even if a chip breaks, you're not going to have to worry of broken chips in the fucking dip. So that's one thing to consider. But the structural integrity of a chip is extremely important in proportional relation to the dip that's being used. And that is the scientific explanation for that. So, and I should have gotten into food science. And there actually is a fucking course that is called food science. It's fucking incredible. Learning how to cook shit with fucking liquid nitrogen and shit. Crazy shit. But back to the topic at hand of the 7-layer dip. The demonstration that I've put up here on the screen goes to show you that you can, if you have to socially distance or you're worried about the dipping and all this sort of thing, you could potentially put this together either in a shot glass or a regular glass. A regular glass might be, a little bit better because it's bigger and you can properly dip as opposed to a shot glass. But that being said, though, is if you are looking to try to either separate the proportions or you're concerned about the social distancing or some shit like that, then this was just a great alternative to do so. It's also creative and unique. And I mean, if you're, handing out platters to people of all different types of food, well, this could be included on there. So you could have 4 different friends, you hand them a platter, and amongst all the other things, you got a little shot glass or a little glass of, 7-layer dip. Shout out to Mrs. Foulmouse Network, who's in the chat, or Foulmouse Ken. I keep saying Foulmouse Network. But yeah, she is the lady representative of that entire channel. So
pretty much.
She's not just Ken's wife; she's everyone's mom.
Oh,
But she says she loves that glass idea, and yeah, it's a really creative, unique idea, and especially when you do want to recognize or respect or whatever with this social distance shit. I wipe my ass with that stuff. Okay, I'd rather get COVID, get the antibodies, so I can get on with my fucking life. But if you are worried about that, or maybe you do have somebody who is got underlying symptoms in your family, you do want to try to protect them as best you can. Well, this is a good alternative. It's, so it's something different. But yeah, 7-layer dip is something that if you haven't tried, you need to. And you need to actually make it yourself. Can you go out and buy this stuff pre-made? Yeah, you can. Will it be as good as you could make it?
No.
Probably not. Even if you've never made it before, chances are, I'd bet money on it, you'll make a better one than the one you buy at the store.
Yeah.
Fresher ingredients, made by you, you know the quantities, and you have more control over the ingredients. So, yeah, definitely, it's definitely something that needs to become part of your repertoire. If you like to host parties, if you like to attend these events, if you like to share your creativity of making food, you gotta go to the 7-layer dip. You gotta start there and maybe start to experiment. Try to make a variation on it. See how it works for you. But all the components to make it extremely inexpensive, and it feeds a lot.
Yeah, totally does.
Yeah, Mrs. Foulmouth Ken, yes, there are really people who have never tried 7-layer dip before. But hey, I mean, I've never tried chicken feet before, but I'm open to
God,
trying.
please don't. I've been offered it before. It's one of the most
Yeah,
horrid
but I mean,
looking
if it prepared, that's the thing though. If prepared properly, I'd be willing to try it. That's the thing though. If I'd be willing to try it, I might not like it, but I'm always open to try things twice, just because of the fact that I might not be into it the first time around. Something I've heard is very cool or interesting, at least flavor wise, is that all those that go out onto the ice and hunt baby seals, for example. And regular seals. Apparently, one of the big delicacies for the Inuit is once you've hunted the eel, the seal, you take its eye, and then you basically suck out the inside of the eye, right? Apparently, the stuff tastes super sweet. So it's like apparently like amongst their culture, this is the stuff. Obviously you got this huge meal and stuff. They got to start cutting and stuff. But for the little kids, you give them the eyeball, and apparently it's like their snack. It's their Nutella or something. So, yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, is it odd and weird? Yeah, because North American society has moved beyond using everything of the animal, unfortunately, because that produces too much waste. But, I do draw the line on what they do in fucking Vietnam with the fucking partially birthed chicken and the fucking egg.
Oh, you mean the Philippine soup balut?
Yes. Is that also big in Philippines?
Yeah, it's really big in the Philippines. My wife said she used to love it.
I'm not ever gonna fucking do that. I want my fetuses undeveloped. That's why I got no problem with fucking eggs. But I'm not gonna eat something that's already partially formed. I'm sorry.
It sounds terrible, dude. I heard it's weird because, like, I had a friend who told me he ate it. He's like, you can literally feel, like, the feathers going down your throat.
Yeah, I've seen this stuff. It's too much. I'm sorry. Like, I would have less of a problem eating dog meat in Korea than I would eating balut. And I love dogs and stuff, but the thing is, though, if they're humanely raised, and then I end up at a restaurant, it's like, here's a dish of meat that's already been prepared since, early this afternoon, just before you came in. I had no chance to save the dog. Well, if it's already prepared, at least I'll try it.
I don't know. I think the thing for me is the visual appeal also. And, like, when I see chicken legs, it's like there's nothing visually appealing because we eat with our eyes first, right? So,
certain cultures eat with their eyes.
Well,
other cultures, for example, in China, although yes, they do like the nice spread and so forth. It is very visual there too, but they also like gelatinous foods. Gelatinous foods aren't very common in North America or much appreciated for that matter. And to a certain extent, I agree because I'm not a fan of gelatinous foods, but like. There's stuff that the Chinese or the Asians like, which is, specifically chosen because of its consistency.
Gelatinous isn't really my bag either, unless it was like Jell-O.
Exactly.
Even that.
Exactly. I draw the line at Jell-O. But I'm
this is actually
What's that?
Sorry, I was thinking of a dessert. It was made me that the gelatinous part made me think of a dessert my mom would make on Super Bowls and occasions was ambrosia.
What, like found on the Mount of Sinai,
No,
or
no,
like?
ambrosia. It was like a fruit. It was like with all. It was like mixed fruits with I want to say, fuck, what kind of cheese? It's like mixed together with like a sour cream, and there's flakes of
Do you know
what
what
is
this
it,
is
coconut
called?
in it. Yeah, it's literally called ambrosia. Let me see. If there's another name for it. Well, that's what she called it. Maybe it was just one of those mom names for
Oh,
things.
it's a pudding. It just came up. Let's see what this is telling me here. Oh, it's a fruit salad?
Yeah, it's like a fruit salad.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
okay,
thought it
I'm
was the
looking
name
at a
of it.
picture here. It's a salad prepared for potluck topped with canned mandarin orange slices, maraschino cherries, and a canned pineapple ring. Is that correct?
That's not how she did.
It's
She would just
American
use like
variety of fruit salad, it says. Contains often
yeah.
sweetened or pineapple. So how did your mom make it?
She would just use she would either be like cherries, grapes. What else would be in it? Coconut flakes. There would be marshmallows. Maybe a little pineapple. No mandarin oranges though. I forgot what else she put in it.
Oh, this says it can include mayonnaise or dairy products like whipped cream or whipped
Yeah, yeah.
topping, sour cream, cream cheese, pudding, yogurt, which they spelt wrong here. There's no H in yogurt. Fuck you. And cottage cheese. So, okay.
Yeah, it
Interesting.
was surprisingly like a refreshing dessert. It's really when you describe the ingredients, it's kind of like I don't know, but it's got a nice refreshing appeal to it. It's like really tasty. It's reminding me of that super.
Well,
She
you know
does
what
it.
that reminds me of? A salad,
Mm.
a fruit salad that my mom used to make, which was like, okay, so strawberries, blueberries, banana. I think there was cherries in there. Um, Peaches and
Okay.
peach slices, with the juice, and then it was
Yeah.
topped with the crème chantilly, the one that you know, and oh my god. And like, yeah, you could mix it up if you wanted to. As kids, we would do that. Sometimes, I would just eat a little bit of fruit with some topping on top of it, because I didn't want to mix it. I wanted to, but that, oh my god. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and it's definitely a refreshing type of salad. Obviously being fruit and all, but with that little bit of cream and the sugars, definitely combines very well.
Yeah, because nowadays desserts descend so much into something like really sweet or super chocolatey, which is fine on the occasion, like cake like. But there was something about those old timey like desserts with a little bit of fruit in them or something light, something that you could just have on a nice like summer day.
Yeah, yeah, and these are
You
great
don't-
for summer
you don't
days.
find
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah. Oh damn! I'll buy some fruit tomorrow. I need to get that recipe from you. I'll try it. Feed it to my wife first to make sure it's good.
Oh, what, the crème chantilly or?
Yeah. That sounds actually.
Oh, it's
really
so
good.
easy to make. It's so easy to make. It literally is just confectionery sugar and whipping cream.
Mm.
So
Oh really?
yeah, you just buy the little, at the grocery store, whatever, the whipping cream, right?
Mhm.
And you get some, confectionery sugar, powdered sugar, and you and I'll get you the exact ratios and such, but you basically add the sugar into a mixing bowl, and then you start to slowly add the whipping cream while you start to beat it. And then you continue until you've used the sufficient amount of whipping cream into there as you're continually whipping and just trying to get the consistency right. It'll take between 5 and 10 minutes depending on the type of beater that you got. And then you're going to be looking for what are referred to as stiff peaks. You ever made whipping cream before?
No, I have not.
Okay, so basically, so imagine you got whipping cream in a bowl. You've seen it before. So you've dipped in your whisk and then you pull it out and how it pulls out. So there's pointy parts at the end made of the whipping cream.
Yeah.
And then if you hold it upside down, right, that stuff, because it's not solid, it'll start to bend over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well these peaks, that's what they call them, peaks. the strong peaks or stiff peaks is when they stay up and they don't just immediately flop over.
Huh.
So that's when you get to that consistency, and you got to keep checking. The more you do it, the more you got to check it to make sure because once you go over, you're going to actually start to, you're going to make butter, basically. You beat it too much, it starts to get too much oxygen in there. And I don't want to, I don't want to throw you off because it's going to take a bit to actually get to the consistency you need it to. So you're not going to need to freak out that, oh shit, am I going to be making butter very soon? No. If you just keep beating it though and don't stop, that's when it starts to add so much oxygen to it, starts to mix it, and it starts to create the chemical reaction that's going to create a butter. Not typical churned butter, but a butter nonetheless.
Okay.
Because, basically butter is cream that's been churned. So, basically you're looking for stiff peaks. And you can look up the term and you can see, what it looks like. And obviously the logic will obviously reach your head, this stuff. But, you've seen this stuff on how you pull it out and the whipping cream acts in a certain way because of its, current consistency. So...
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that you have to whip air into. Like whenever I made what is it, like sugar cookies?
Yes.
Because you have to cream together the sugar and the butter, and you have to make sure you get enough air in there, or it'll come out like really shitty and flat.
Yes, and liquidy.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely get you that recipe, and it's so easy. It literally is just 2 ingredients, and and then you just beat. And then you're going to recognize the proper consistency. And this stuff, you can literally put it on a cookie and go to town. Or, use it for sexual escapades. I can assure you that this is definitely... You have a bowl of this next to your bed and maybe a bowl of some berries. And they come in quite handy.
Holy shit, you romantic bastard. Like that.
I am actually. I am quite the Serrano.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, let's try that.
But that cream is something I will share with the world.
Are you a big creme brulee fan?
It's the no. Okay, no, I'm not a big creme brulee fan. Do I hate it? No. If it's given to me, will I eat it? Yes. We have something in Argentina which is basically the same thing. I don't believe it's flamed though, but or bruleed, but it's called flan.
Flan.
Yeah. It's so big in Argentina and the rest of fucking Latin America, and I don't know. It was always pushed on me as a kid, so it's like one of those things that I can eat it. But that's not the thing I'm going to ask the first time if somebody asks me, what do I want to eat? It's just, I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me,
I know. My wife loves that stuff. She makes leche flan once in a while, and it's just like...
I know that's big in Philippines, too, because of the Latin influence and stuff. But just fucking stop with the flan, please. Fuck off with the flan.
I know. All their dessert is something with it's got like eggs in it. It has condensed milk. It's just something.
Oh my god! Yeah, that's basically the component of all Hispanic-based, Latin-based fucking foods: eggs, milk, and sugar. It's no.
Yep.
Stop.
It's literally it.
Like I can feel my heart, my blood flow slow.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next little... we're jumping all around, but that's perfectly fine. It's Too Many Chefs, and that's what I love. I love the chaos of the kitchen. After all,
it is chaos.
Who doesn't? So what I'm showing right now, the image, is a delicious bread pretzel with some honey mustard sauce.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And that is a common snack that seems to be eaten during the Super Bowl, and it's just I think also goes to show that there is a huge variety of different foods that are featured and are considered common for Super Bowl, but because there's so many of them, some people might have never tried them, although they might be aware that Yeah, that is something that is commonly had during Super Bowl. This is also had during Oktoberfest.
Oh, okay.
But another snack that seems to be quite common is the pigs in a blanket. And these
Oh,
are
yeah.
go ahead,
Mhm.
go ahead.
No, I was going to say that. I was waiting for you to get to that one because that one's a damn staple right there. Pigs in a fucking blanket.
Absolutely,
One of the easiest, most delicious things you could ever eat
indeed.
for a Super Bowl.
Yes, absolutely. And these are different from the English pigs in a blanket, which are very common during Christmas, which I covered in my episode of Too Many Chefs. But those are actually wrapped in bacon strips or rashers, as is the proper term. And these, being more common in North America, are wrapped in a sort of dough mixture, a bready dough mixture, like Pillsbury or many of the other ones that are out there. And extremely simple to make. I mean, hot dogs are already cheap as it is. You buy yourself one or two of these goopy tubes, and you can easily create these things. You could create a whole fucking platter and make them extremely quickly.
You're talking about the Pillsbury ones you crack open?
Yeah.
Dude, for my whole life, I've hated cracking those open. I'm like, oh, God, it's going to be an explosion. I know it.
Well,
Like,
you can use
but it never
those. I mean,
is.
they've got phyllo bread that's already pre-prepared.
Mm.
There's a lot of different types of breads that are basically prepped for this. So you don't even have to go through the process of really, dealing with dough, for example, that you have to let rise and all this sort of thing. So it's something to consider if you're looking for the cheap way out.
Okay.
But yeah, it is definitely a staple. And obviously with a little bit of a nice honey mustard, that just goes beautifully as a dip for these pigs in a blanket.
It does.
And
It does. All right.
what's that?
My dinner's done real quick. Let me go
Yeah,
take
go
my
ahead.
wife for a meal,
No
and I
problem.
will finish. I will hit you back up if you're still on.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm not going over.
All right, brother. I'll hit you up soon.
All right. So if anybody else wants to call in, feel free to do so. We're still going, long and hard, as she said. So let's move on actually to another meal that is quite common, and there's quite a few that I have here. So I just have to make my way to the next one. Now this one needs no introduction. This isn't just one of the greatest meals for Super Bowl. This is one of the greatest meals of all time. We're talking about barbecued ribs. That's right. One of the best things from the pig, the ribs. And whether it be back or side, you could make them so many different ways. They are so delicious, so good, that it is definitely something that people flock to when it comes to Super Bowl Sunday feasts. Now let me go back to the chat here. We got Sleazy Cyan says, what's up? Nice finger food arena. Those pretzels look delicious, and that with some beer cheese is delicious. And we've got Irish Dave. Thank you for joining us here tonight. So, talking about ribs, for example, they can easily be made dry rub, wet rub, and whether it be back or side, you got a nice variety that you can do. And pork is relatively affordable, to be quite honest, especially these days where we've seen a lot of meats increase in their prices. So yeah, I was personally seeing quite a lot of deals today at the grocery mart with beef ribs and such. So still working out what I'm gonna make for Sunday, but I do like the possibility that I might make myself a few racks of ribs just for me. So, but speaking of ribs, there's something that sometimes goes hand in hand with ribs, and actually sometimes some people might say that they're more important, or yeah, that essentially they mean more when it comes to a food to be featured at a Super Bowl feast. Now, as that image comes up, I'm just going to address Chad here in the chat. Thank you for joining us, Chad. I'm getting the ultimate Super Bowl feast, a 50 count of Duff wings in their hot sauce with their homemade bleu cheese. Well, I'm glad that you said that at the time that you did, because that's exactly the transition that I was looking for, because I was going to move, obviously, to what some people consider the staple of Super Bowl foods. And I can't deny that. I totally agree. Wings, I love. I love wings for a sporting event. And you can try all this different variety of sauces, for example, of spices, of breading, of cooking type. It could be baked, it could be fried. Amazing. And there are some places out there, I'm not going to name them, but there are some places out there that are known for having a huge variety of different flavors that you can choose for ordering wings. But you can also make them yourself. And if you're looking to host a Super Bowl party, or if you just want to make a lot of wings and enjoy the game, well, right now is a good time to go look for wings. And yeah, you can find some pre-prepared wings, relatively cheap, but you don't have full control over maybe the quality, the quantity, the spices, and so forth. But if you go and you buy your own wings that are unprepared, that are raw, and you then prep them the way you want, you can actually, get much more. So instead of one box of wings that are already prepared, say Pinties, just to use one example, could be Jane's, could be Maple Leaf, could be all these different types of brands. I'm not going to name one specific over the other, because I believe that you can get better wings when you make them yourself. So look for preferably something local and organic when it comes to wings. You should be able to find a platter of them, and usually you can find maybe up to 30, maybe up to 50 on one platter. But you can buy them at the grocery store, and when you buy them like that, you will normally buy them cheaper than you would if you bought them already boxed up, and like it's got the sauces, it's coming from one of these big name companies and so forth, and you have more control over everything. And from that point, all you have to do is prepare them. Now, this could be as simple as you being lazy, if you want to call it that, and just buying a bottle of, say, Frank's Red Hot, and then just deciding to coat them like that once you've cooked them. Or maybe you want to. There's Diana sauce. I don't know if it's down there in America. There's Kraft barbecue sauce. So you can prepare these things with any type of flavoring that you want. And it's extremely inexpensive. Or you can just buy all the components for the spice yourself and make the spice on your own, which will also be cheaper. And it becomes much more cheaper the more people you're feeding. So the more that you're buying in bulk, the cheaper the overall cost becomes, and obviously the more you're feeding people. So there are ways to sort of maintain and manage your expenditures, but also to make sure you're getting the most bang for your buck. So yeah, when it comes to wings, that's a great thing when it comes to food at a Super Bowl feast. And it's versatile, it's a staple. Like, there's really no other way of explaining it. It's just a great meal, great, filling, delicious. Now, I personally am a fan of the flats. I don't like drums, to be quite honest. I'll eat them, but if I could choose, the wings that I get, they would always be flats. Now, it's not because of the meat content. Obviously, a drum will contain more meat. But I like the simplicity and quickness of being able to deal with a flat. The meat is much more quickly removed, and it comes off more cleanly from the bone, as opposed to a drum where it's sometimes at the top it's really wrapped up hard. Obviously ligaments and so forth. But yeah, to me, flats, and there's a little strategy out there that you can actually break one side of the flat, stick the thing in your mouth, and then you just basically pull the bone back out of your mouth, and you're literally stripping, your teeth are stripping that bone dry and taking all the meat with it. And this is a strategy that many people use if they're doing competitive eating, for example. But if you're just really hungry and, you want to be efficient with the way you eat, instead of picking at a little flat while you're trying to pick the bones apart and a little nibble here, little nibble there, that's a good strategy. Chad makes a good point. Flats are really moist. Exactly. You got the juices in there. Drumsticks can, dry out, obviously, and it doesn't make it. The meat just gets much more dense and stuff. It doesn't make it that enjoyable. It's much more flaky, obviously, with the flat. But yes, my love of wings goes beyond sporting events, although they just work so well with sporting events. I mean, you just sit your ass down, you got a whole platter of wings, and you don't have to turn your eyes away. You just bring those things to your mouth, and you keep watching, and you keep eating. So, love wings. And I also love, just the creativity of what you can do when it comes to wings, because you can just do anything you want. Dry rub, wet rub, breaded, buttermilk, panko, anything. So there's a lot that you can do. Now, let's talk about some of the sides that you can also have. I know that we've been all over the place. I initially planned to go in order, but I do like the chaos of things. And after all, Nick did come in and he did raise some great points, and those needed to be addressed. So now we're jumping all over the place. So let's talk about some jalapeno poppers. Now, these are delicious and they're so easy to make. Yeah, you can buy a package in the store, but is it going to be as good as you could make it? No, because these are really that easy. They're very inexpensive, and they're just damn incredible. So this is just a great snack, not only just to offer during a sporting event, but to learn to make on a normal basis that you could have, say, maybe on a Friday night, movie night, date night, whatever. It's easy, it's delicious, and it's inexpensive. And it's, I guess sort of exotic or unique in the sense that, no, you're not going to be eating this every day. It's obviously somewhat heavy. It is being fried. But it gives a nice splash of flavor to the palate, especially the spiciness. That definitely, when the spice combines with the cream, and obviously the breaded outside, it definitely it's really sublime. It's really, really good. And obviously with something like this, you would normally use panko breadcrumbs, but you can get away with other stuff as well. Panko, in my opinion, is a little bit overpriced, but it is sort of Japanese. So, but I mean, as someone who doesn't like to waste and recognizes and understands food, you don't necessarily need to throw something out as soon as it reaches its expiry date, because there's many different ways of revitalizing food or utilizing, say, a stale loaf of bread to make breadcrumbs. It's still perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There is no mold or anything. It's just that, you could either soak it in water and then bring it back to life in the oven so that you can use it for sandwiches or something, or you can put it into the blender, make it extremely fine breadcrumbs, and then use that for anything. Could be fried chicken, could be chicken fried steak, could be tempura style foods, vegetables, meats. So many different things that it could be applied to. So something as simple as making your own breadcrumbs, I urge you to. It's so good because you're saving money. You can utilize this in the necessary large quantities, because you just can't have like a few slices if you expect of bread to fully cover with breadcrumbs chicken breast, even if it's cut in half. No, you're going to need substantial more. So, you can get the necessary number of quantity, or the necessary quantity, to be able to accomplish breading an entire breast and several by just having the foresight of understanding how your food works and when you might need to take a loaf of bread and make it into breadcrumbs, or just end up throwing it out because, if you don't use it too quick, then yeah, you're going to have problems. So let's move on to another little point here. So jalapeno poppers, very, very delicious, easy. But let's talk about another staple food. Very easy to make as well, and very quick. And we're all facing hard times right now. We're all facing hard times, and the fact is that we need this. We need a nice distraction. We need a nice little event to take our minds away from things. And if you know me, you know that I'm not a fan of bread and circuses. Football is part of the circuses. It is meant as a distraction. That being said, though, is there a problem with football in its own? No. It's the NFL culture that's grown out of it, and the obsession by a lot of fanatics to spend more time knowing player stats than how criminal their politicians are. But that being said, once in a while, we all need a break. We all need to be able to enjoy ourselves. And this is one of those opportunities, is to be able to watch a sporting event, regardless of all the political bullshit that's going to surround it and the esoteric occult, halftime show that they're going to show some sort of, elite ritual in there. Take what you can from this event. Try to enjoy yourself. And more importantly, try to socialize with people. Try to shake the shit off of the COVID and become human again, and associate with humans and be around humans. And this is a great opportunity to share your love of food and love of a game and love of being social with your fellow man. Take this opportunity to do so. So even if it is you buy a pack of hot dogs and a pack of buns and you just invite a few people to have a little get-together, it's something. It's something. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with some hot dogs, maybe some fries. But take the opportunity to socialize, especially now during the dead of winter, where we're being even further isolated than we would normally be at this time of year. So, when it comes to platters, there are vegetarian alternatives too. Not everyone needs to think that it's always going to be meat. And it's also, I think, very good for those that are meat eaters to have a nice variety of flavor change at a Super Bowl party, for example, to be able to try foods that just clear up their palate, refresh it, and allow for a nice cutting of flavors after you might have had something that might be perhaps either too spicy, too flavorful, too savory. So it allows for a cleansing of the palate, which is extremely important when it comes to proper high cuisine. And it allows you to be able to eat the next meal without actually having it tainted, the flavor tainted by whatever it is that you previously ate. And yes, this is food science. It does exist. People do emphasize this when creating meals. And even Michelin star restaurants are very aware of this matter. So let's go back to the chat here. It's the Costanza says, regardless of Dr. Fauci scaring people not to go to a Super Bowl party. Yeah, well, he also owns a lot of stock in vaccine companies that are now making billions. So yeah, I'm not going to take his word too seriously. But let's continue on with featuring all the different foods that can be eaten during the Super Bowl. And as I mentioned earlier, the themed foods are always my favorite, especially because of the creativity. To me, it's not just creating good food that tastes good, it's putting it and presenting it in such a manner that it astounds, that it stimulates, and that it pleases. And it's not just the satisfaction of seeing somebody enjoy their food, as I spoke about earlier. It's about seeing them enjoy the experience, seeing them enjoy the visual component of the food, and not just the flavor component. And to me, that's a joy. That's a joy that just comes from creation. It could be from painting a picture, from drawing, a cartoon, from planting a flower. But that satisfaction is definitely impactful, especially for the creator. So this image, for example, another great, beautiful display of a stadium made of all different sorts of foods, and allowing for the creativity of not just the person who made it, but those that are going to eat from it. Now look at this beautiful array and have to decide, well, where am I going to take my components from? Am I going to take a sandwich from here? Oh, well, maybe I want to just add a couple of chips on there. Maybe grab one of these little ham rolls and maybe a couple of squares of cheese, some pretzels and stuff. And this is where you're gathered with other people who are going to eat there. So now you're congregating, you're talking, and you're interacting and stuff. And both of you are admiring the beautiful effort that was put into making this fucking spread. There's just so much that comes from feasting together. Breaking bread is a big thing. Now, obviously it has religious connotations, but people need to see beyond that, especially people in Boston that hate God. There is something divine, truly, about breaking bread with your fellow man, about sharing what you have, about feasting together. There's definitely something there that needs to be not only accepted but appreciated for what it does for us as humans. And like I said, feasting with other people is something that is innately built into us as social beings. And because it's so important, it definitely does have its extreme reaching effects. What's up, Clam Baked? No, I'm not talking about you. You break bread and wind. Interesting. But yeah, we're talking about another Bostonian who is much, much less intelligent than you. But yeah, so speaking of this, let's move on to another point here I wanted to make. Just want to show this graphic here. If I can pull it up again. Yeah, there we go. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full planned out, stadium meal where because you're looking at a few $100s of food here, to be honest. Actually, hold on a second. No, hold on. Let me look back at that image. you can pull that off for less. I'm just thinking like you want quick and easy. You just walk into the grocery store and you start pulling shit off the racks. Yeah, $200. Yeah, you'll get all that, no problem. It would be cheaper though. It would be, in my opinion, if you took your time or you knew what you were doing, substantially cheaper. Gonna have to place that at about maybe 150. And that's probably being excessive. The meat would I got to compare to Canada here, but in the meat and cheese are going to be the most expensive. The bread, not so much. The pretzels and the chips, no. The vegetables, no. There's probably like there's a substantial amount of bread loaves in there. I'd probably have to guess. Probably have 6 to 10 bread loaves in there. But even still, bread in bulk even is not that expensive. So, and on top of that is that if you're going to be inviting so many people to a party, this becomes affordable. Or at least it becomes rational in regards to how much people are eating. And very often, if you've got good friends, if you do something like this, if you go balls out because people want you to go balls out and they recognize you going balls out, they will fucking say, shit, dude, you really fucking did all out. Here, take this money. No. Just take the fucking money, man. You did a fucking great job. Thanks so much for hosting me. Like the wife didn't want to have me and us over there, but like it's really fucking appreciated that you guys that you let me here and we could have fun here. So it's affordable and you can pay, and it can be affordable and be easily paid and stuff. So let's go back here to the image that I'm currently displaying, which is just a random spread of things. And, obviously one of the common foods that I mentioned earlier was the pizza, as you can see there as well. A bunch of, obviously, breadsticks and slices of bread, popcorn, a few dips, some, I believe those are little corn chips down in the corner, a few other things. But yeah, pizza and nachos obviously are the big thing that are featured here. And yeah, those are very common when it comes to feasts during the Super Bowl. And as I mentioned earlier, the time where pizza is in most demand, the most difficult time, if you want to call it that, for all pizza places is Super Bowl Sunday. And I would recommend you take a look into the statistics, because the number of pizzas that are sent out, what the toppings are, where they go, or at least where predominantly they're focused on. It's just amazing to look at that analysis to see, first of all, how popular pizza is and how, I guess, varied it can get when, when you have an event where a lot of people are taking place, or taking part, I should say. You're going to see a lot of variety in toppings. So it's very, very cool to examine. Because it's just one of those things, like, for example, delivery of Chinese food on Christmas Day. That spikes to, like, hundreds of percents to levels that aren't normal during the year, but there's that one time a year where there's such a great demand that it literally, it sets itself as a precedent on the radar and becomes sort of a staple in the industry, that everybody that, say, for example, runs a Chinese restaurant is well aware of and prepares for the rush on Christmas Day. So, yeah. I'm also rolling the joint now, so I'm a little distracted. I just got to find my papers. There they are. Let's go back to the chat here. It's the Costanza says, pizza, beer, and wings are the usual Super Bowl choices. Yes, they are the most common. Chad says, Cuomo told me that we could have more than 10 guests to our Super Bowl parties in New York if he was allowed to bang our wives. I thought he was gay, to be quite honest. I mean, what kind of man actually has barbells in their nipples? Yeah, well, what kind of straight man has barbells in their nipples? So, I don't know, disgusting. Let's see here. It's the stanza says, being told how many guests you need in your own home is tyranny. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Bullfrog is the pizza eating expert. No, he's not. No, he's not. First of all, if you've never made a pizza, you can never be called a pizza expert. You can never be called a pizza connoisseur, nor you could be called, relevant. Because, yeah, you can like pizza, but you can't be talking about pizza in any form of authority if you don't even know how to make it. And Bullfrog, guaranteed, doesn't know how to make it. And it's not that difficult. I mean, the guy literally has, mitten hooves, really big fat hands. And, if he got off his ass and actually made an effort, he could probably knead some dough quite well to make a good pizza. Because it does take mass and strength to properly knead a pizza. Dough, that is. And, I'm sure that he could do it no problem. Problem is he's lazy, and obviously he's stupid, but even stupid people can cook food. So, mostly lazy. But I'm sure that he could cook a pizza all by himself, even at 41 years old. And he'd probably be like, oh my God, this tastes delicious. I didn't believe that it was so difficult or so easy to make the pizza. And then I would respond with, well, being a spoiled child where your mom gave you everything, of course you're going to take the easy way out. But now that you've been empowered by the knowledge of making a pizza, you too can feed yourself without eating shit all the time and take control of your health. But, that's never going to happen. But I just don't think that your taxpayer money should be going to that. Back to the chat. Clambake says, making pizza right now, actually. Frozen. Red Baron, baby. Yeah, I've heard you espouse the qualities of Red Baron quite often there, Clambaked. And actually, you know what? It's not just you. I believe it was Vikings fan that was also discussing that because him and his dim-witted cousin apparently at several times where they were running their shows on a Friday night I think it was Friday, were basically baking specifically that, Red Baron pizzas. And they were explaining to me about the thickness of its crust, how good it was, and all this sort of stuff. It sounded good. I mean, it sounds like it's, a common frozen pizza that I guess is popular enough that, it's popular. And let's see here. It's the Costanza's pizza is not hard at all. No, it's not. It's not. It's not that difficult at all. It's not difficult to make. The dough would probably be the most difficult thing, and it's not that difficult. Really, the best thing to do is, you can even go to not a restaurant. Well, you could go to a restaurant. But what I'm saying is you go to the grocery store, you go to the fucking deli aisle usually, but it's refrigerated, and they've got pizza dough ready to go. All you got to do literally is just knead it into the shape that you want, put your toppings on, and cook it. That's it. And it's not really expensive. It's like $3.99 maybe for a bag of the yeast. Oh, sorry, a bag of the flour with the yeast all ready to go. So what you do is you leave that out for a couple of hours. It starts to expand. That's when you remove it from the bag. On your counter, you should put a bunch of flour. Just roll the ball of flour over this stuff so it's nicely covered. And then that's when you start to start to knead the dough itself into the shape necessary. And I recommend that people look online if they're going to do this to see the proper technique. And don't try to do the whole over your head, flipping fucking dough shit. Just don't. Start off slow. Eventually, if you get to that point where you are capable enough of doing that, yeah, you can do that. But from the start, you shouldn't be fucking around. You can easily make a good pizza without having to do that. But it doesn't take any time at all. If you're that lazy, you can already buy pre-prepared pizza sauce. It's not tomato sauce. It's actually pizza sauce. It's labeled that way. And they put extra spices and shit on it. You easily make it yourself. But yeah, you want to be lazy, you can buy it prepped. But add it to the surface of the pizza evenly. Not like fucking Bullfrog would just like fucking dump it on there. Evenly, then obviously you proceed with your cheese that's shredded. And yeah, you could shred it yourself, or you can be a lazy shit and you can go buy it pre-shredded and pay twice as much. But, you put your cheese on there, and then you put your toppings, and then maybe you want to put a little more cheese on top. Never do you add sauce on top of a pizza. Chicago pan pizza is not pizza. It literally is soup in a bread bowl. That's all it is. Soup in a bread bowl. Disgusting soup. Tomato sauce soup is what it is. Disgusting. So, just a reminder that phone lines are still open. This is Too Many Chefs. I would encourage you to call in to let me know what it is that you're planning on making for Super Bowl Sunday. And, we can get your interaction. But I'm not going to go on some sort of paranoid rant here and ask why people aren't chatting in my chat or calling in Mon. But we got Clambake here in the chat says, "Hey, for cheap frozen shit, it's good." Yeah, well, there's actually there's a Dr. Oetker's what's it called? There's hold on. Mamma Mia, or no, Di Mama, Casa di Mama. So it's made by Dr. Oetker. It's called Casa di Mama. And, they've got different types of pizza that they make, different styles. And the Casa di Mama is more of, I guess, a thin crust pizza. And they've got one that's their Hawaiian pizza, which is, I love it. There's some sort of, I guess it's like a jalapeno type sauce. It's got tomato sauce, but there's something else. There's another sauce on there. And it's fucking delicious. I don't know what it is about it. Oh, Dr. Oetker also has Ristorante pizza. So Casa di Mama, Ristorante. They have Giuseppe's. So there's different styles of pizzas that they have. And just like any other brand, they would have their variations of their offerings. So it's not. I'm not saying that frozen pizza is bad, but once in a while you gotta try to make it yourself. Especially for someone like Bullfrog who doesn't make a goddamn thing. I mean, he won't even boil water. He'll just fucking microwave it. That's not right. That's not right at all. In fact, if I ever take control of the entire Earth, my first decree would be to, not my first, but one of my first would be to ban all usage of microwaves worldwide for cooking purposes. Back to the chat. Clambake says, "Making it from scratch is awesome." Absolutely. I've made from scratch with homemade marinara. Yeah. Whenever I think of marinara, I think of, tomato sauce for shrimp dipping. like, seafood sauce or whatever. There's so many different names it goes by. I'm not a fan of that stuff. But I'm a fan of making my own tomato sauce, or I should say pizza sauce, utilizing tomatoes and many other ingredients. In fact, hopefully soon, Jacob Blinkhorn, who I've given a recipe to, specifically on, it's actually pasta sauce, not pizza sauce. And yeah, some people use the same term for both. Some people make them different. Regardless, he's going to be completing that soon, hopefully, and he's going to send me that information and show me how it turned out and stuff. But I'm looking forward to see how his attempt at my recipe works out for his sauce, because I'm very much a proponent of making the sauce yourself. A lot more control over there, and especially because I'm not a fan of extremely acidic tomato sauce. And yeah, you can regulate that. Yeah, I prefer to make things. Back to the chat. We got It's the Costanza says, I remember I told you about Chicago deep dish. No, you didn't, douchebag. No, you didn't. I've always known about Chicago deep dish. I'm actually the one who brought it up on that episode one day where I was just lambasting it because it's not pizza. Goes on to say, some claim the deep dish is just a Chicago tourist thing. Then says, ever heard of or seen Mama Celeste microwavable pizza? Anything that follows microwavable, I've stopped paying attention. Okay. Bam says, Bullfrog, the king of cuisine. Yeah, that is clearly the opposite of reality. I'm not sure if what he consumes could be called cuisine. But, yeah. I don't even know if you could call what he eats even food. So It's the Costanza says, Jacob Fuego, the taco vendor. That would mean that he's competent, and we know he's not, so, Chad says, I love making homemade dough with garlic, parmesan, and rosemary. That sounds good, actually. I love rosemary. Parmesan, that's actually a cheese that I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't know. I mean, I like it on some pastas. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it. Sometimes I'm not. I don't know. It's a sharp cheese. And the more authentic the stuff, the sharper it is. You can buy that Kraft shit that's all powder. And funny story, I remember as a kid, you could basically, well, not basically. I mean, like, there would be big chunks of this powdered stuff in the Kraft container. And I remember just eating these big chunks of Parmesan cheese. I don't know. That's kind of weird. But I guess I obviously grew out of it. But real Parmesan cheese, Reggiano, where you got to shave it off proper and so forth. It's just really, really sharp. And sometimes it really takes away from the flavor, for me, of certain foods. And as such, I prefer a more lighter type, flavor when it comes to Parmesan. So let's see here. Back to the chat. It's the Costanza says, picking his nose is the only cuisine Bullfrog eats. No, that's the thing though. That's not microwavable, so he doesn't eat that. It has to be in the microwave, and it has to come in a box. And you know that. If it doesn't come in a box, he doesn't eat it. If it comes from the ground, it's not in a box. He's not going to eat that. It's the Costanza says, I stay away from cheese that refuses to melt. It's been seen on the news. It's like plastic. Absolutely. It's actually one molecule away from being plastic. So, yeah, American cheese isn't real cheese. It's a plastic byproduct, basically. Well, it's a semi-organic substance, if you want to call it that. But yes, it does not melt. It's supposed to melt. It's supposed to burn, but it doesn't do either. That's not real. And yeah, you know why it tastes good? It's called flavoring. They add flavors to make things taste good. So just like when they add, for example, the color purple to Kool-Aid crystals, that stuff's just fucking sugar and other components. What, people are going to want to drink like a white liquid? No, they want colors. They want to be distracted. And, you know, it just sells. So, yeah, we just add a different color. Oh my God, now it's purple. Oh, there's no problem in drinking this. So, Bam in the chat says 10 cans of pop, 3 Twinkies, a frozen pizza, a bag of chips, Bullfrog's diet. Could be. I mean, I know that it's not very healthy. But yeah, I don't think he cares. But I do think you taxpayers should care. It's the Costanza says red dye 40 is in food, and I know I consume it, but it's dangerous. Yes, it is. Bam says, like so-called ice cream called frozen dessert that doesn't melt. Oh my God, yes, great point. This is why I'm so disgusted by ice cream trucks. Because, and even McDonald's, any Dairy Queen, any place that serves soft serve ice cream, that's not real ice cream, dude. It's fucking disgusting, congealed. Oh, it's hydrogenated corn syrup and all these chemicals and shit, and it's fucking disgusting. And yeah, it might taste good. You might have childhood memories where that tasted great. But it's fucking flavoring that makes it taste that way. This stuff doesn't melt. Just like Bam said, you'll actually find the same sort of cream in the middle of some of these ice cream sandwiches, for example. So yeah, it's got a little cookie wafer on the outside, but it's got this cream on the inside that you think is ice cream. But that stuff doesn't fucking melt. Doesn't even burn. You can see these videos on the internet. So this soft serve shit is literally the worst thing that you can get. You want the best ice cream? Go gelato. It literally is the best ice cream you can get. Don't tell me ice shavings are ice cream, because it's not. There's no cream. Now, is there something wrong with ice shavings? No, not at all. It's just ice. Now, what they add to it, that could be problematic, because, yeah, you got the dye. You know, if you're going to, make a cherry flavor, it's going to be sugar and other shit and a red dye. And that's what they put on there. Are there organic alternatives that are natural? Yes. Expect to probably pay twice the amount for an ice, a shaved ice fucking snow cone than you would normally at the place that wants to poison you. But hey, it's up to you. Let's see here. It's the Costanza says this is why people are the size of Bullfrog. There are several different reasons why that is. Chad says if you want really good soft ice cream, it isn't actually ice cream. It's frozen custard. Exactly. And yeah, that's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it. And despite custard actually being heavy, obviously, in cream and sugar, it's infinitely better than anything soft serve that you can find out there. But yeah, even gelato. It's not the same consistency as ice cream in North America, but it's still delicious. It's still creamy. You can still get it in a cone if you want. And yeah, it's very good. Let's see. What's the next one I'm going to bring up here? Let's talk obviously about the big aspect when it comes to pizza. And obviously all these great stadium foods. But even simple little meals and stuff like some chips, some nachos, some salsa, and even, you don't even have to go all the way to deviled eggs. You can just literally boil eggs and, cut a little bit of Spanish onion, make a little design, and there you go. You got a little bunch of little footballs. So your creativity is only limited with your imagination, and you can still do this on a budget. You can still do this fairly easily and fairly cheaply, and still really enjoy not only the food itself and the sense of satisfaction from the amount that you consumed, but also from the visual display that you get, especially with the theme foods and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that would definitely add to your experience, and it doesn't cost too much, nor is it too difficult to accomplish. So yeah, there's still a lot you can do if you're hoping to host a party and you don't really have access to many resources. So just always keep that in mind. Back to the chat, we've got it's the Costanza. It says the photo would kill bullfrog. It looks too healthy. I don't know. Maybe maybe his fat protects him. Well, can't say. And Bam says a run would do that, Costanza. Yeah, probably. But no, he's got to start somewhere. Just start walking around the block, and you start to lose that weight if you're actually committed. But doubt it. But you don't even have to necessarily go for a stadium creation. You can do something very simple. You can put together just a basic cheese and meat board. For example, you could make sort of a little meatloaf football and have that as a side. A vegetable platter, as you see here, that's exclusively on the field. And there's actual there's platters like that you can purchase that have obviously predetermined patterns on there. You could even, if you wanted to, you could print something out that looks like the field of the stadium. So there's a lot of different ways on the cheap that you can actually adjust your presentation and just give it that uniqueness of the event. But also provide the necessary variety to flavors and to palate cleansing that allows all the different foods that you're going to create to be properly experienced, properly appreciated, but not to be too overwhelming where they start to fall over onto other flavors and start to have a bad aftertaste when trying another food and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff to consider, and obviously no one expects anybody to be absolute experts in this from the beginning, but you do have to start somewhere, and you do have to experiment. That's really the only best way for you to know how your food game is. So that's what you got to do if you want to practice. You can at least start to experience what you need to do. Let's go back to the chat here. Got Bams. Oh, I guess that's the same message I read before about bullfrog needing a run. But yeah, so when it comes to these sorts of events, a sporting event where you want to create a nice spread, where you want to create a nice variety, and a nice visual appeal too. Super Bowl obviously is one of those events, and I think it's a lot more than Christmas and a lot more than Thanksgiving, because it's at Super Bowl where you have that particular theme, but also the fun that's involved with all the different aspects of the sport. So, for example, you're not going to get someone making a charcuterie board of the nativity scene, or at least not normally. I could say it's in bad taste, but that would depend on the ingredients. But yes, I do laugh at my own jokes. But yeah, you're not going to see that very often. Or at Easter, you're not going to really eat a cake with, Jesus there on the cross. But that being said, when it comes to things like either a birthday or a sporting event like the Super Bowl, that is when this creativity can reflect in the dishes itself and just create a new and unique experience for people that might not have ever been interested in this, or just want to try something different when it comes to food. So now we got JR4 the Third says skunt tacos. No thanks. I'll have to pass. It's the Costanza says the alien eats human brains. Okay. I, for one, do not promote the eating of human brains. Oh, look at this. We got a call. Welcome to Too Many Chefs. Thank you for your call.
Hi, I'm just calling to ask you about your refrigerator. Is it running?
Sort of. It's hobbling,
Then you might want to go catch it.
I'll probably catch up fairly quickly. It's got a limp.
It's like, nah. What's good, brother?
So what would you like to add on today's show?
So 2 questions. One of them, I did just hear you say skunt. Why do you guys use the word skunt instead of Scott? And 2, do you prefer buffalo wings or hot wings? Please respond.
Well, I use the word skunt because I am a genius and I created the name myself, and because it sounds very comical, because it's got the word cunt in there. And it ends in a T and starts with this S and is a C after the S. So being very similar to the word Scott, I thought that would be very comical, at least in my elevated intellectual comedic capacity. Question number 2, you had asked about the wings. Now, when you say buffalo wings, what are you referring to?
Actual buffalo sauce.
But that's a thing, though. You're talking about just a regular wing, not coated in any sort of breading. And then it's got the wet rub of buffalo sauce, if you want to call it that, or spicy cayenne sauce. And then you said...
No, regular buffalo.
What's regular
sauce?
buffalo,
okay,
dude?
I'm sorry. Why did I say buffalo? I meant to ask you barbecue wings or buffalo sauce, meaning spicy.
Okay, so basically you're saying regular wings without any sort of seasoning or sauce, but just barbecued.
Correct.
Compared to either oven baked or fried chicken wings that have the spicy buffalo sauce on it.
Yes.
And obviously, I guess you would pair that, the latter, with blue cheese. That's what you're referring to?
Yeah.
My personal favorite type of wing is the honey garlic wing. But yeah, buffalo wing. But I just call them spicy. I mean, it's just like I know that buffalo is the term that they use, the buffalo wing, but it's just really a chicken wing that's covered in hot sauce. I mean, yeah, supposedly buffalo created it and all that, but it's just like when you say buffalo wing, it's so difficult to, you know, to determine what somebody's using, because it's just the term's overthrown. You know, it's just thrown out way too often for you to be able to say, okay, because literally you could do what you're saying. Barbecue chicken wings, and all you do is put some Frank's Red Hot on there, and there you go. You got spicy sauces that are like buffalo wings, right? The only difference is that this was, you know, barbecued and it wasn't fried.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, yeah, honey garlic is my go-to, but I do love, I guess we'll refer to them as buffalo wings. I do love that. I do love the very hot spice, and I love the interaction that is produced when having it with blue cheese. And I'm not a big blue cheese fan, but it's just something that's there that really just, they complement each other perfectly.
They do.
You got the hot, and then sort of it's a sharp, not really bitter, but you got the creaminess, and it just, yeah, they just work really well. And to me, it's somewhat similar to, say, ham and pineapple. You might not think they'll go together, but there's something about both of them that the sweet and the savory combined with the salt, it works. It works. Don't question how the gods work. It just works. So
I gave it a shot maybe 2 years ago. I was amazed, and I've loved it ever since.
Yeah, I once too was lost, and then I was found. Hallelujah.
So, a couple of questions left. If I could give a shout out to a couple people, I did see the last video of yours, the community trials or something like that in that realm, or community mysteries.
Can you keep it to the cooking stuff?
Oh, sorry. Okay. So if I could just give a shout out to a couple people, and what do you think about breaded wings? Is that a yay or nay?
I'll give it a yay.
Okay. So you prefer that over?
No, I didn't say I preferred it. I just said I'll give it a yay. What I would like
which one do you prefer?
I would like to have both.
Okay.
I mean, like, I guess my preferred would be the buffalo wing without the breading, but I do like to have the breaded wings as well. And very often I like to have both of them. I like to have, the breaded and the non-breaded, at the same time, and just go back and forth between them.
Okay. And then my other question. If I could give a shout out to a couple people.
Does it have anything to do with cooking?
Well, those people like to eat.
Okay, fine. Go ahead and let's see your response. Let's see if this was
okay.
Worth
Well,
it.
I do want to give a shout out over there to Fat Mouth Kenny. He will be going live with his wonderful wife. She is very wonderful. To me, the most pleasant wife in the community, Miss Shannon. They will be going live with Flip Flop Fridays. I like to call them fucking flip, fucking flop, fucking Fridays. Fucking lit.
All right, enough of that. No. Like, we're talking food here, and I can do a way better promo than you can. And the shout out, it's like, yo, shout out to little Jimmy there on the corner. I want to shout out my mom who's in the hospital right now, and I want to shout out Big Al. Just watching out for the kids there at the neighborhood. That's how you do a shout out. And again, you can't seem to produce a proper promo. Pathetic. You know what? Let's do this, because really I'm tired of this. It's a joke. It's always a joke with this fuck. You are blocked. Goodbye. Alrighty. Another half-breed mestizo I don't have to deal with. And yeah, shame on you, Ken, for allowing that faggot onto your show. Jacob RP, he's playing you, dude. He's playing you. If you want to see the evidence, I can show you. But that's true, J.R. Ford, the third Scuntiham in a quarter. But yeah, back to business here. It is 9:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will still take calls. However, we will be wrapping up probably in the next 15 minutes, maybe. At most, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that I don't go live when Ken is on. Because he will be going live tonight with Shannon for Flip Flop Fridays. Notice how efficiently and effectively I was able to say that without sounding like a fool as the previous individual did. So, that is planned for 21 hours, 40 minutes Eastern Standard Time. That would be 9 hours and 40. Or 9 o'clock 40. So, there are about 30 minutes left for that, and I would like to get some more interaction if possible, because I would like to know what people are planning for their weekend. Are they planning to do a meal? Are they just staying home and not inviting anyone over? Are they just going to order out food? If so, what are you getting? But I would love to know. That's what the show's all about. Too many chefs. But yeah, you can catch Ken soon with Shannon, and I think I've reached the end of all the images that I downloaded for today. I just downloaded a bunch of random ones that I just wanted to show some variation, especially with all the different stadiums, the food platter stadiums. I just think that's just fucking awesome. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Let's give it a little bit more, a few more minutes, see if somebody wants to call in, see if anybody gets, excuse me, any comments in the chat. But I would love to show some of my recipes, but I don't have the necessary equipment to film it properly, and the lighting, and it's too much. If I could rent a kitchen, that would obviously be a good kitchen, and I could cook it in there, then yeah, I'll give you, well, I'd need the cameras at least, but other than that, I could probably produce something high quality standard. So if anyone wants to lend me their kitchen. Or if you want to hire me as your personal butler and chef, I'm handing out resumes. But one thing we didn't talk too much about, probably because I didn't really look into it too much, because it wasn't really part of the meat of this argument, is the desserts. Now, yeah, we did talk about Nikki's mom's recipe there for the ambrosia, but there's things like ice cream. That seems to be quite common for Super Bowl. Brownies, I've noticed, is a common thing. Sometimes apple pie, but I really haven't seen that often. I'm not sure what you guys have had for desserts at Super Bowl parties and stuff, but I've seen that probably more varied than what you would see with the meals. Like with the meals, with various parties, you'd see normally similar things. Chicken wings would be consistent, dip, whatever. but desserts would always be quite varied. Could be a fruit salad, could be ice cream, could be brownies, Nanaimo bars, for example. That's something that we've talked about on Smug Canadians. A unique Canadian confectionery treat, absolutely delicious, and worth coming to Canada for, absolutely. So, but those things are common, at least here for the Grey Cup. So, I'm just very curious what you guys might have had for desserts during Super Bowl. I know that some people make little football shaped cupcakes. They'll have little muffins. So a lot of different what's it called, cinnamon buns. But it's just so varied. I don't see a consistency as I do with the food, for example. Nacho chips, dip, veggies. Compared to just the dessert being so varied. So I'd just be curious as to what those watching right now have had when it comes to dessert. And just to say, I also like the idea of, like this image shows, a nice big sandwich where you can actually cut it into a bunch of smaller pieces. Very similar, obviously, to if you ever had one of those Subway 6-footers. It's just like that. So just make a big one. They cut them into like portions, and everyone can go up and grab a nice big fucking honking sandwich. Those things are awesome. So I guess that's it, because we got 17 people watching right now. No calls. No commentary in the chat as to what desserts you've got. So I've basically reached the end of my list of topics that I was going to discuss, because it's obviously not that difficult to discuss staples that are fairly commonly understood, and everyone is culturally familiar with them for the most part. So, yeah, I've covered what I thought would be the best in regards to this, and I think I gave a nice little go there, 2 hours 15 minutes. But be sure to check in with Ken and his lovely wife Shannon, who will be airing very shortly. Be sure to check them out. I'll just confirm again what channel that's on, because I think it's on an alternate channel. I just have to find it. Now I'm having issues finding it. It was just... Oh, there it is. You naughty boy. Naughty boy. Okay, so in the chat there right now, I will give you the link for Ken's show, which will be starting in, according to the counter, 23 minutes. So you still have a lot of time. You can go take a poop. You can go take a pee. You got more than enough time. I'm just going to go back to the chat here. We got, it's the Costanza says, my 600-pound life TV show is now casting for new people. Should probably send them Bullfrog. Yeah, but aren't the people on that show actually interested in losing weight rather than continuing to live in the same sort of situation? So, I don't know. All right, well, we've reached the end of today's show. We're going to cut it off right there. I'm going to be watching Ken's show tonight. Find me there in the chat. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Just wanted to cover a few things and talk about all these different Super Bowl feasts that'll be going down this Sunday. I am Devious Dave Rose. Want to appreciate everyone that joined us here tonight. And I wish you a very happy and safe weekend.